right, welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches podcast, where we talk about everything going on in sports. And Deacon Greg, I brought something for you. I don't know if you could use this. I don't know if could you use it? I'm not sure. So we went from I went, and I'm sure you did too, went from hopeful that the Lakers were going to go on to the finals. I thought, okay, this is going to be a great series too. Is didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out. So I got to start with you. Just your thoughts on the series, and then thoughts on, do the Lakers shift next year? What do the Lakers shift next year?
Let me start out by saying, as I have never seen so many Golden State Nugget fans in my life. They just came out of the woodworks. I mean, are you guys getting new jerseys next year or something? I mean, that was amazing. The Golden State Nuggets. Here we go. My Lakers have nothing to hold their head down about. As I look back on this season, we started out 2-10, came through the play-in, fought our tails off, and made it all the way to the conference finals. Of course, we got swept in the finals. Those games were a dogfight each game. I mean, they led in every one of the games. They actually were leading. So I mean, Denver, you got to take your hat off to them. They got, between Murray and Djokovic, those guys were amazing. Amazing. I don't know if they can keep it up, but the shots that the Joker were making last night. I thought it was Dirk Nowitzki out there with the behind, falling away from the three-pointer. You just got to take your hat off to a guy that does that. So my Lakers have nothing to be ashamed of. Of course, we would have wanted to go further than that and win a championship or whatever. But I am loud and proud a Laker. I'm just amazed at all these Golden State Nuggets. That's all just got me going crazy. So
you guys are kind of in a similar position to us, though. You have quality players. You guys weren't able to put it together to get it done this year. There has to be some adjustments, but what adjustments do you see for the Lakers going into next year?
The biggest disappointment was D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I never did expect him to match Jamal Murray, but he should have been able to just counter that a little bit. We should have got some scoring, and that's what they brought him specifically there for, is to counter that. We needed that scoring that we never got. And I think if he would have just been half as good as Murray, we'd have been all right. We'd have done something. We definitely wouldn't have got swept. So that's the biggest point I see that they need to address. And I did say that I seen they had Kyrie Irving sitting right there on at courtside. And so I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis, is we got to address that scoring. We need a knockdown shooter, and I'm going to take my hat off to Austin Reeves. I've been kind of skeptical on that guy, even with his defense, but that guy, he's a player. He comes every night and he brings it. So I'm going to take my hat off to him, but they need that second guard to shoot and score. And that's where we're going to be looking at right there.
All right, Brother Bill, did anything surprise? I mean, besides the sweep, which I think was surprising to everybody, did anything surprise you about the Lakers Denver series?
No. Joker, sure, best player on the team. I said when the series started, Jamal Murray, as he goes, the team goes. And someone told me, how the Lakers are going to shut him down. I don't remember who it was. I'll have to see if I can find it. Some friend of mine somewhere. I have so many friends, so I'll have to see if I can track him down. But Jamal Murray, he was the real deal. And to be honest, that didn't surprise me. They finally had an Aaron Gordon sighting when they needed him the most. He saved his best game for last. And that's what, I want to say I was pleasantly surprised. Not so much that I'm a Denver fan, but I do have to admit, I didn't watch them much during the year because I was too busy following my Warriors, And so, finally seeing them in a series and seeing how well they played defensively, I think that's what surprised me, was how good their defense was. The team, historically, the organization, they've been an offensive team. They just weren't known for their defense. So that when they needed to, they really stepped up their defense. I do want to address the one thing though. In terms of all of the Golden State Warrior fans who became Denver Nuggets fans, there is a saying that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that's just the way it goes, Deacon Hill. You can't pull for the team that just knocked you out. That just doesn't happen. At least I don't, anyways. I just can't fix my lips to root for the team that just knocked my team out. That's just not going to happen.
So. That is sad. That is very sad. You know what? I always rooted for the team that beat my team because that elevates my team. So I'm rooting for Denver because then I can say at least my team faced the eventual champion. So that just knocks you guys down even further. That your team lost to my team, and then my team got swept. So you guys wouldn't even made it inside the stadium with playing Denver because we were better than you guys.
So when we beat the Raiders in the regular season, that means you were rooting for the Niners in the next game?
No, only in basketball.
So
just checking.
So you brought up Kyrie Irving. Do you think there's any? Basketball seems to be the sport where they give people that prove over and over and over again that they are not a good like team chemistry player, and because they're talented, they allow this not good team chemistry player to keep coming into the locker room. Do you think there's any validity to Kyrie basically just kind of joining the team that the Lakers have now?
I don't know that he helps the team. I mean, if I just believe that there's other talent you can get out there. I mean, look what happened in Brooklyn. That just didn't work. I mean, when he left Cleveland
or
Dallas, and so
or Boston.
I mean, if the Lakers want to take him, go ahead, but I wouldn't do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat. All those instances you just named, those teams, they were all young and had no leadership. Dallas, they didn't have any leadership over there. This team is destined. LeBron has, I would give him no more than 2 more years. So the clock is ticking, and Kyrie has to redeem himself. He knows what he wants now, and if he went to the Lakers, he would be an asset because he could put that ball in the bucket. Only thing I would be my leery of him is his defense. His defense, he wouldn't be able to stop Murray. He might have been scoring right with him, but he wouldn't have been stopping none of that. So that right there would have been a liability. But as far as we need guys that could put the ball in the bucket, and he will put the ball in the bucket. And I believe that he came over to the Lakers with a veteran team like that he would fall in line because he's getting up there in years too. He don't have time to be messing around anymore if he wants to get that another chip under his belt. So we will take him.
But realistically, he hasn't shown any signs of any of those things you're talking about. So you're just kind of hoping. And no, I don't mean skill wise. Skill wise, he's insane. I'm not saying skills, not at all. But like, where's the maturity coming that you think is going to happen if he goes to LA?
Well, I just explained it to you. All those situations he was in, there was no veteran leadership in none of those teams that he went to. He was the guy when he came there. He was looking up to no one. Even when he just went to Dallas, he wasn't looking up to anyone. He came there for one specific purpose, to come shoot the basketball. That's it. There was nobody to pull him to the side and say, "Hey, look, this is what we got to do. This is our goal." And like I said, he's getting older himself. LeBron, I think the leadership between him, LeBron, and Anthony Davis will be on a mission. That's what will be the change.
All right. I would never want him on my team. Just like I mean, he's a better player than Westbrook, but he's like we might as well go get Antonio Brown and sign him to the Raiders if you're gonna get Kyrie and put him on the Lakers.
He don't take his jersey off and run around the court.
Not yet. So let me check the score real quick.
It's over.
Okay.
Game 5 Thursday night. It messed up my Thursday night plan. I got to actually.
Okay. So I think we can all safely assume it will most likely be a gentleman's sweep in the Heat Celtics series. So, Brother Bill, you think Boston will make a run?
Yeah, I expect Boston to win Thursday night. At least they're back at home. And again, I mean, it's another elimination game for them. And so, basketball is a funny thing. They say in games don't carry over one game to the next. And they always say, you just have to win one. So they got the one to stay alive. Now, I mean, if they lose a third game at home, then that's going to say something. I don't know if a Celtic team has ever lost 3 home games in the playoffs. I'd have to check. But so I would expect Boston to win Thursday night. and Miami has another shot to try to close it out in Game 6 on Saturday.
But you still foresee Miami eventually getting him out of the playoffs?
Well, they better do it in 6. They better not. If they don't get it done, if this goes all the way to 7, it's anybody's game.
For sure. So, Deacon Hill, if we're just going to project out Denver versus Miami, who do you think has the advantage in that series?
If you guys can recall, especially Brother Bill over there, because he has this thing you call selective memory. You know, sometimes it comes in and sometimes it don't. I've been telling you guys about Denver a long time ago. Denver is not a joke. They're a hard matchup for anybody. So I think Denver could win the series. Again, Miami is not big enough. They're not long enough to defend Denver. Denver has a lot of length, Aaron Gordon from Midi High School, San Jose, Bill.
Oh,
Remember
now you
that?
go hype him up. You were dogging him all week.
No,
man.
I was not
Now
never dogging him. I was telling you that he needs to start scoring more. His defense, I want to tell you guys this. Some guys know it, some guys don't. I used to go to Midi. That's why I would tell you guys about Midi. And I played in that program. That defense that's Midi defense that you see him play. He plays defense, sliding your feet. Yeah, I know you're looking confused. I graduated from Andrew Hill, but I did go to Midi High School.
Oh, so you just went in there just to go onto the court. You didn't actually take any classes.
No, I attended Midi High School, played football and basketball for Midi. Thank you. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But that defense that he plays is guaranteed. I'm telling you, he could play that, and they teach fundamentals. He's fundamentally sound. He will lock down Jimmy buckets. He will lock him down just the same way
Lock down Jimmy buckets.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna
look,
cut this clip out.
Okay, clip it, book it. Yeah. I'm telling you. And between him, the length that he has, we know what the Joker has, and then Michael Porter Jr. He's 6'9" also. So that'll be a tough matchup for Boston. For either one, but we're gonna project Miami. But yeah, it will be Miami. I don't think Miami could match up with the side with their length. And you see the scoring and the shooting that Murray and Joker are putting up. So, and Gordon, you can count on him for his defense. He might not. You know what I'm gonna tell you about him, Bill? Mm-hmm. His confidence goes real fast. If he makes a basket, a jump shot, a 3 or something, he gets confidence. If he misses one, he won't even shoot it again for about at least 3 or 4 more possessions, and then he'll shoot it again. That's where his offense comes and goes. But his defense, his defense is always there. You notice they always put him on the toughest cover every game they play. He's gonna cover the toughest guy, the scorer. He's always on the score.
Okay. Yeah, I think for Miami to have a chance in the series, I think 2 things have to happen. I think Jimmy Butler would have to be the best player on the team in every game. Now, I don't mean to score the most points, but just be the best player. And I think Miami would have to knock down threes. I don't know that if you look at how they run their sets and their plays and how Denver runs their sets offensively, Denver has the advantage. I mean, execution-wise, I saw in the third quarter of this game against Boston, Miami, they came out like they already had their eye on resting for the week, and they forgot there was another half to play. And that just can't happen in the playoffs. So I would expect Denver to win the series. This is a question of how many games. And sweep, I don't know. I think that's what you say. I think when you get to the finals, I think you have to be a pretty good team. I think Miami may get 1, maybe 2, but to say that they can win the series, like I said, I think too many things have to happen, and I just don't know that they have the firepower. They have toughness, but yeah, I just believe Denver is the more complete team, and both teams are well coached too. I give Michael Malone a lot of credit because at halftime, down 15 against the Lakers. No, I said, whatever he said to them at halftime, they came out in the third quarter and they ratcheted up the defense.
A lot of that was LeBron running out of gas also.
Well, he had to run. He didn't have no help.
Yeah, 30. What did he end up with? 40?
He ended up with 40. Almost
31 in the first half. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. 107-91. Boston, 3 minutes left. This one's a wrap.
It's about time.
Yeah.
That the Boston finally showed up, because that coach, dude, That coach is. If he's there next year, I'll be surprised.
Well, you can't get rid of a coach when I think you make it to the conference final in the coach's first year. But that's the way you want to do head coaches. Then, I mean, I think
Basketball kind of does head coaches like that.
Wow.
I mean, you win a title and like 2 years later you're you're fired.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Butler. This is gonna be the first series where it's 1 versus 8 in a championship game, right?
Yep.
Like,
No, well, no, the year the Knicks made it in '99, they played the Spurs, but I can't remember what seed the Spurs were.
Spurs were a low seed though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Spurs were the #1 seed that year. No,
Okay.
because that was Tim Duncan's rookie year, so they probably weren't.
Okay. All right. Thoughts on the flex schedule for the NFL shifting? Is it 2 weeks ahead or is it 3 weeks ahead?
2 weeks in advance, they can flex the schedule. So if the team is scheduled to play on Thursday, they can flex them out to play. But what I didn't understand is whether or not they would flex them out to play the following Sunday or the earlier Sunday. Seems to me it would have to be the following Sunday. I mean, I think you would do a team a disservice to make them play earlier than they had planned.
Well, the Thursday is the first game of the week, right?
Oh, you're right. So that means they would flex them out to the following Sunday, and so 3 days later. Good point. Okay, got it.
I can't imagine you having tickets. I mean, granted, this is all because Amazon numbers were bad, but I think it's because, like, kind of what we were talking about last week. I think part of it is it's harder to have streaming at bars, so your numbers are going to go down because you have to stream 50 TVs at the same time, all off of Amazon. Like, I think it's more that than anything, and they're just like going to drive the better games, which is great for Amazon, I guess. But it seems it's Sunday to Thursday or Thursday to Sunday or Monday to Thursday. That's a big shift to do to somebody 2 weeks before a game. I mean, for fans, I mean, players, whatever, but fans, man.
Well, I just read it. It's 28 days in advance. They got to give a 28, so that's almost a month.
Oh.
So it's 28 days, and they're only going to do it in weeks 13 and 18, or 13 and 17. Weeks 13 and 17, or weeks through 17, yeah. 13 through 17. And the thing, I kind of like it because what it happens is when you get that late in the season, you can see the teams that are not going anywhere. No, they're not. You saying about ratings and stuff. You're not going to get any ratings for a team that's 2 and whatever. So if you got some teams that are playoff bound and got implications, and that you could get those teams televised, I'm for it. Go for it. I mean, why would I want to stay up on a Thursday night to watch the 49ers and play somebody when it's just going to be a dud?
It's the #1 NFC seed. What are you talking about? Of course you're going to watch the 49ers. Of course we're getting flexed into that game.
Well, you don't have to
that
worry
was a
about
joke. Come on.
Place.
Well, you don't have to worry about flexing the Raiders out of a schedule because I think do y'all even have any primetime games that look at y'all schedule?
I think we got at least 4, Bill.
They only get flexed out. They get flexed out.
Yeah, because you're playing Kansas City, so that's one. Because you're going to play the world champs, that's one. Who are the other 3 teams?
We have 4, Bill. Don't worry about it. We don't want you watching them anyway.
Yeah, no. So from a consumer's, yeah, I mean, 100%, because you do get to the end of the season, you're like, why am I watching this team that hasn't been in it for 4 weeks because somebody got hurt or whatever? Like, for a consumer, absolutely. My thing is, like, I don't think it was the quality of the game that kept the numbers low for Amazon. I think it's either people don't have Amazon and aren't watching it, or that it's the difficulty in streaming multiple TVs and stuff at the same time at a bar. Because where the numbers would be for like cable, you go to like Buffalo Wild Wings and you got 50 TVs that are giving ratings, where Amazon, are you playing 50 TVs off the same stream? Or I don't know. I think all that streaming stuff is more complicated than we talk about. So
for me, the performance was terrible and I was at home. I mean, and it would stutter. And I also think, so as a fan, if I would normally, be able to watch, and it's only, I think, if it's a in-market game, it'll still be, you can still watch it on, I think it's NBC. But then if it's an out-of-market game, yeah, and it flexes, then that's when, if you don't already have, Amazon Prime, then you'll miss out. And I guess that's my issue, right? Is as a consumer, if I don't have Amazon Prime, and I would normally be able to watch the 49ers when they play on Sunday, and then they flex them to Thursday, and so it's out of my market, so now I'm not going to be able to watch the 49ers. I'd be upset.
Yeah. One thing that is tough for streaming's like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes behind live, if not more. So if you're like on Twitter trying to catch, you'll see stuff that happens way before it happens on the TV, which is very frustrating. You'll just be checking something like, oh, you'll see like the field goal that you haven't seen yet, that they haven't even gotten into field goal range yet. That's pretty tough. One other big shift in football this week was essentially the Brock Purdy rule. No, the NFL does not want to see a team have absolutely no shot to do anything like 7 minutes into a game. So they're going to allow for another quarterback to be added that can only play if the first two quarterbacks are knocked out. My question is, so one that sounds great, but my question is, even if we had somebody behind, for us personally, even if we had somebody behind another quarterback, what's the quality of that quarterback when we saw the quality of the third string or the second string quarterback? So, I mean, how good is the quality going to be for the get on the field?
Well, if that emergency quarterback doesn't count, I mean, I don't know if whether or not it sounds like they don't take. What I haven't heard was whether or not that emergency quarterback will take up a normal roster spot on the 53-man roster or not. Right, because if it would only be activated if the first two go down, then to me that sounds like you wouldn't expect him to play in any other circumstances. So I need to know more information about the details to see whether or not what that means for the team in terms of roster. There's a salary count against the cap and so forth. Because if the answer is no, then you get to go out to the market and try to get the best available quarterback you can.
For sure.
Yeah, Bill, I just pulled that up. It says the bylaws was initially proposed by Detroit. The third quarterback designation will not count against the limit of active players, either 47 or 48. So it don't count against that limit.
Okay.
And to your point, any quarterback is better than no quarterback. The 49ers were warming up McCaffrey to play quarterback. So if you got somebody that could play, that you could pull them into the game, I think it's good. And he doesn't count against your roster. And he comes in an emergency situation, and only under medical circumstances, not because your quarterbacks are playing bad or something like that. You yank them out. And then if your quarterback is deemed eligible to come back into the game, then they can come back in. You can pull that guy out. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's the 49er rule, you need that. Because I was going to get Bill this shirt. It was said 49ers straight out of quarterbacks.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So then teams are going to have 3 quarterbacks and then also a practice squad quarterback. So
you know what? And I was reading. I need to read a little clearer than that, because it says you cannot pull up that quarterback. Can't come out off your player squad. You can't pull him up from there. So this seemed like just a special guy that you just got sitting there, and for emergency purposes, you can't pull him up off your practice squad or something like that.
Right.
So anyway, I was just reading up on it today. Matter of fact, an hour before I got on here. So I need to get more clarity on that.
Yeah, that will be that. It would have been nice to have somebody that his arm was not falling off to pass the ball or anything during that game.
I think for the team that has to bring an emergency quarterback, you'd have to assume maybe, unless it's a close game, a game that's real meaningful, or in the playoffs. And if it comes to that, their chances might be slim to none anyways.
I can't imagine what we would have done with a quarterback another level down from what we had. I guess, especially against a team like the Eagles. Or the Eagles next year. We had our Deacon Eagle fan there on Sunday, just smiling ear to ear because his team not only went to the Super Bowl but seemed to have gotten better somehow. So
that's okay. We'll pay him back when we go there this season.
Yeah, not worried. Worried about.
We didn't talk about the new Las Vegas Raiders ownership. announcement today.
Oh, no, another New England player just becoming the Las Vegas Patriots.
I addressed that with Brother Joe a while back. I told him it's just more revenue for our commitment to excellence. We're just, just more money in the pot. That's all. Bring it on, baby.
Al Davis would be rolling in his grave if he found out that y'all done let Tom Brady come to own part of the team.
That's why they call it minority ownership. He has no voice. He's just getting a few shares and get paid a little bit. And Al Davis was always he was the managing partner all the time. He had all those guys on the side, but they had no voice. Brady has no voice. We just want his money.
So then Brady has a stake in the Raiders and the Aces then too, right?
Mark Davis owned both of those teams.
He's gonna be your quarterback. He's gonna be your quarterback by October. He's gonna be the first. He's gonna be the first owner player.
By the way, who's the Raiders' backup quarterback now that Stidham is gone, or whatever his name is?
Whatever. Who's gone?
The
Jared
quarterback you have. Who?
Now that Stidham's gone, who's the backup?
Stidham's gone. Yeah.
We drafted a quarterback, and he looked. We drafted a quarterback, and then they also have another quarterback. But yeah, we're addressing all those needs. Don't worry. Just worry about who's your quarterback again. Do you guys have a quarterback?
Trey Lance.
Who?
Trey Lance is going to start. Come on, I tell you this every time I see you. Every time I see you on Sunday, you ask me the same question. I'm gonna have to start writing stuff down for you, man.
Look, Joe ain't chiming in. He ain't too excited about that.
Oh no, about Trey? Nope.
I played a game in 2 snaps.
I'm waiting for Purdy's elbow to heal. That's what I'm waiting for. All right, you guys. Hopefully we'll have a finals. We'll know who the finals is going to be by next week, and hopefully get some football news and good stuff. All right, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, we're gonna try to get that hat for you guys. The Golden State Nuggets coming soon. I'm gonna
wear a joke jersey next week.
Oh, you want to? Okay, there you go.
A great question. What's your preference, Wisp Broom or Swiffer? What do you want me to bring on Sunday? Either one works.
I got it covered. All right, guys. Thank you.
All right.